what's good? We might as well start now. We don't even need to wait for the countdown. What's good, CCS family? Welcome to the Chris College Show, Millennial Bunker Edition, programming live from Los Angeles, California. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam? Well, we got your audio off for a second, but as Marissa starts to figure out her end of the mix, because, we got an amazing show for everybody that's tuning in live to our YouTube channel. But before I forget, for everybody who's tuning in live right now, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell on our YouTube channel so you never miss a live show. And we always like to do this at the top of the show because on this day, Wedding Crashers released in theaters 17 years ago. And believe it or not, what we're going to be discussing in the A block is a topic of conversation with Elon Musk and Twitter. But on this day in 2006, Twitter launches and the rest is history. And we got a great show for everybody because our Just Talking guest is CCS sports contributor Kevin Drake to discuss all things sports. And also don't forget to check out our amazing fifth installment of Off the Fret, more music talk, featuring pop rock band Animal Sun as we discuss their upcoming sophomore LP, Generation Waiting, out on July 27th. All right, Marissa, it's time to rock and roll. This one's called Say It.
I'm beyond livid.
That's what's been irking me like crazy.
Psycho X.
We hope that he grows from it.
No, legit, I was trying to figure that out also.
Whatever's on our mind, that was something that's been griping.
So, I get to just say it.
That's my question, Marissa. It's that time again. It's the 2022 Emmy nominations are released, and I know you guys have been binge watching, streaming, and even DVR'd by now. And so it's time for us to have the grand debate of the summertime. What is your favorite TV shows, and which one is gonna win the grand prize? And I feel like to really start off this conversation, Marissa, I think it's important that we kind of share what I think is one of the more major awards to be highlighted at the Emmys, and that is drama series. So Marissa's got an amazing image right here. Yep. We got Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Ozarks, Severance, Squid Game, Stranger Things 4, Succession, and Yellow Jackets. Marissa, I don't know about you. I've seen every single show on this list except Yellow Jackets. Have you seen Yellow Jackets?
I have not seen it, but I heard it was so good. So I'm surprised it on there. You have it on the bottom.
But do you feel like that might hurt them when it comes to their chances of winning, when us two millennials that are hosting a millennial talk show have never even seen the show Yellow Jackets? Will that hurt them?
Probably not.
Probably not. I know Succession leads the nominees in the drama series category with 25 nominations, followed by Euphoria with 16. I also know Zendaya is going to be recognized as being one of the youngest producers ever to be nominated for an Emmy. I've always felt like Euphoria is a bit overrated. When I see Ozark, I had fun watching the entire series, but was that season finale memorable? I kind of beg to differ. Severance was all right. Squid Games I thought was pretty freaking cool, especially the global impact that it has. So I feel like a Squid Game and Succession are the two shows that I would say are going to give the run for their money. And Better Call Saul, obviously it needs to, have his earn its stars and stripes, but I just don't know. The season hasn't been completed. So will these voters be fair? I'm not too sure, but we did have a great comment because I released a micro content yesterday asking from you, the CCS family, who you felt like was going to win the grand prize. And I'm going to throw this question off to you, Marissa, because Cyber Culture, they got an amazing show, really highlighting all the kind of entertainment aspects of television, film, and theater. And they had an amazing question, which said, what even is the grand prize at the Emmys? Drama? What would you say? Is it about the television program or is it about the actor?
Well, as an actor, I like to say the actor. I think it's a television program, to be honest. Unless you're a humongous name that's drawing people to watch it, it really is. Once I hear like, oh, this won something and this nominated, I'm more likely to click it. So I'm going to say for the actual show.
Yeah, I know a lot of people also felt like, maybe comedy series needs to be highlighted because that's kind of where you go
of that.
when it goes to TV series. So we can show a clip of that real quick because I know the trio of series will be up against, Abbott Elementary on ABC, Barry, HBO, Curb Your Enthusiasm, HBO, The Marvelous Miss Maisel on Amazon Prime Video, and What We Do in the Shadows on FX. And I kind of think that's cool that actual cable television is actually starting to get recognized. For a while, it felt like a lot of streaming shows were the only ones being nominated into the mix. But if you want to check out the 2022 Emmy Awards, it will be broadcasted live on September 12th, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on NBC, and will stream live on Peacock.
If you had to pick one, what would you pick? I know mine would definitely be Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso is a really phenomenal show. I can't really say that though, Marissa, because I haven't caught up on the latest of the season. I've been watching a lot of other movies recently, but I hear that Barry is going to give itself a run for its money. I haven't seen it, but don't take my words. But if you want to check it out, September 12th is the date for the Emmy Awards. All right, but I also want to remind everybody, if you have a problem with what Marissa and I just said about the Emmy Awards, make sure you just say it, CCS family. We want to know from you. But our last topic that we're going to be discussing is Twitter has sued billionaire Elon Musk in an effort to force him to follow through with his deal to buy the social media company. And Marissa, what do you think about all this kind of nonsense?
I'm just going to come out and say it. Lame. Hey, look, he should have had in the contract from day one. If he wasn't going to go through with the deal, there'd be a penalization on it. Monetary penalization, right? If it's not in that contract, he is welcome to pull out at any time. Sorry.
Yeah, I know the biggest gripe that Elon Musk has with Twitter right now, which is ironically today is the launch of Twitter starting in 2006. He has a problem with the company misleading him, including the public, on the number of automated accounts, which is basically spam bots on the platform. Twitter has came back at Elon Musk saying that, dude, you're kind of like, twisting the narrative. There's only like 5% of spam bots on Twitter. So that's not enough for you to leverage an argument to pull out from your deal from Twitter. Do you still feel that way now, Marissa? What I've just said now?
Yeah. Here's the thing is we all know Elon Musk is impetuous. He's emotional, right? He does not think things through. He has the type of money that can just be like, I want this, and bam. He could have pulled at any time, and they knew that. So they should have wrote it in the contract originally in the purchase agreement that if he does not go through with it, there will be a monetary kickback to the shareholders.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how Elon Musk, such a innovator and entrepreneur in a time where millennials and Gen Z really tend to grasp towards any kind of movement that Elon Musk does. And to see him kind of pull out the last second, I think kind of speaks volumes, because I feel like people don't want censorship. We want ownership. And I think that's what Elon Musk is trying to tell Twitter, that even if it's just 5% could really leverage a conversation, especially in a political spectrum that we've been feeling this summer. I don't know about you, Marissa, but I always find it kind of alarming to see all these kind of spam bots jump into the mix. And we haven't been pretty good at regulating what is real and fake news even before Elon Musk got into the mix. So it's going to be kind of a tricky situation, but I feel like this is the calling that we need to ask you, the CCS family. We want you to just say it, because I know what Marissa feels. I kind of have my understanding of how I feel with Elon Musk.
How do you feel, Chris? Say it. Say it. How do you feel? Say it.
I feel like Elon Musk has that right to be able to pull out from any kind of deal. It kind of reminds me, this is a little off topic, but it kind of reminds me of in music news, Fender is being sued because they're saying that they're overpricing their axes, their guitars. Well, don't they have the right to put whatever kind of price tag that they want on their guitars? It's like, you can buy it whether you want to or not. And I feel like that's the same thing with Elon Musk. I feel like there's other affordable guitars that you can get. Elon Musk feels like there's other ventures that he'd rather spend his money on. So I feel like he has the luxury to be able to do whatever he wants, and he should. But I want to know from you, again, the CCS family, just say it, as we will add your comments into the show. But stick around. We got more left on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. What's good, listeners? Our guest on Just Talking is CCS Sports contributor Kevin Drake to discuss all things sports. And I want to remind our YouTube listening audience, if you haven't subscribed or hit the bell, go ahead and do that now so you never miss a live show. But you know what, Kevin? Since you are rocking the Cincinnati Reds shirt as we speak, shame on you, young man. No, I'm just kidding. You are the Cincinnati kid. But before we begin, if you haven't figured out by now, as I've just been teasing with Kevin, he is the one and only Cincinnati kid. And at the beginning of the month, the Cincinnati Reds earned their third walk-off win of the season in fashion, or a bit of malarkey. So, Marissa, let's go ahead and play the 23rd walk-off balk in the last 100 years.
Be 1 second. Keep talking, y'all.
Man, you know what? You really killed the hype on that one. Come on, Marissa. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
This is the 23rd walk-off balk in the last 100 years. If you got the clip, Marissa, let's go ahead and play it.
Thank you.
Point to the pitcher. It's a balk. That's a walk-off balk, and the Reds win.
Yeah, as you can clearly see in that clip. But let's put an example of a game that happened 2 weeks later.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So now that we put a side-by-side comparison, Kevin, could you please explain to me how your Cincinnati Reds was able to get away with a walk-off balk with that kind of malarkey, but this Yankee pitcher is able to kind of do this razzmatazz, almost looking like he's about to fall off the pitcher mound, and that's being celebrated as a kick-ass pitch? Talk to me.
Yeah, that's the New York Yankees for you.
So are you cool with this? Because it's like, you know, the last I recall, if a pitcher makes any sort of motion that mimics his or her normal delivery, that's a balk. I mean, are we going to have to start considering robot umpires?
I thought a balk was once his foot is on the rubber, right? If he steps his foot off the rubber, then he can do whatever he wants. But in this case, if his foot was on the rubber, so that means he's committed to pitching to home. But I don't think a game should be decided by a walk-off balk.
Yeah, not in the 10th inning when you're in extra innings and he barely moves the glove, sensing that that's the motion of the pitcher's delivery.
Hey,
when you
that
see this
umpire had a hot
nonsense.
date to go to. He was done with the game, and he was like, "Oh, that's a bulk. I'm out of here."
Yeah,
Peace."
exactly. And that's my point I want to emphasize
Done.
with Kevin and also the CCS family. I think we, you know, as much as we kind of laughed about it last month, I kind of think that we might have to actually start considering robot umpires, because this is a bunch of malarkey. But since we're already jumping on the MLB, I think it's time for everyone's favorite summertime debate, which is the MLB All Star roster snubs. And are you satisfied with the roster, Kevin?
You know, there's always going to be snubs. And the fans do get to vote their favorite players as starters. So if there's players that are very popular, maybe don't have the numbers like some other guys do, it is kind of unfair to them because they truly are the all-stars.
And so was there anybody by name that you were thinking about that you were going, man, like this guy deserved his flowers, but didn't get the opportunity because obviously they have to pick one player from all the MLB teams to make it into this game?
I mean, there's one player on the Reds that probably should have been an all-star. That's Brandon.
Of course, you started off with the Reds, but I'll let you continue.
He got snubbed. He's having a great year. You know, he's batting close to 300. He's got double-digit home runs, and you know, he got snubbed too. But since the Reds are amongst one of the worst teams in baseball, since they did a fire sale before the season started, you know, it doesn't matter much. But hey, they took 2 out of 3 out of the Yankees today or yesterday. 2 out of 3 in New York, beating the best team. So that's about all that we could cheer about.
Okay, well, we obviously can clearly see and hear that you're being a little bit biased with that response. But, you know, since we are, I like how honest you are. You're like, correct.
No, but you're right. There's other players like TJ France. I think he got shafted too. He definitely should have been in the All-Star game.
France, you mean, from Seattle?
Yeah, Ty France, yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. He's one of the best hitters in the game, including Atlanta's Austin Riley. I feel like definitely had his fair share to be into the mix. But, you know, since, you know, the All-Star break is known traditionally as separating the first and second half of the MLB season, who do you see competing for the World Series?
Well, I mean, these Yankees are looking like the real deal, even though they lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds, probably just lost interest. But I mean, they're a solid team. I mean, the Red Sox are right there, right behind them.
I know it hurts my heart to say this. I'm rocking an Ohtani Angels jersey, but do you see the Yankees
Angels
possibly?
hard. They got
Well, they do, but what I guess what I was trying to get at is we obviously know the 14-loss streak that the Angels did, during the first half of the season when they were looking really strong in the first month. Do you see the Yankees possibly, turning that W into L's in the second half of the season, or do you think they're going to continue that momentum where we'll see them for like the first time in over a decade in the World Series?
Yeah, I mean, they could very well, make some noise in the playoffs, but I still think the Dodgers are the team to beat. I just think they're just solid all the way around. Now they got Freddie Freeman, and you can't count out Atlanta. It's like Atlanta.
That's true too.
They're just a weird franchise because they just, when they lose a star player like Freddie Freeman, then they get someone else like an Austin Riley comes up out of nowhere. It's like, whoa.
Well, you heard it first, gentlemen and ladies out there listening to the Chris College Show. Kevin is banking on the Braves, Dodgers, and Yankees to make their run at the World Series. And let's switch topics because the waging war between the PGA and the LIV spread to a new setting with the Justice Department investigating the PGA Tour for anti-competitive behavior. And what can you tell us about the feud, Kevin? And do you believe the PGA suspending players is the right thing to do?
Yeah, this is a real battle that's going on right now. Because if you look on the LIV side, why are these players jumping ship? Well, I'll tell you why they're jumping ship. Money. And we're talking like Dustin Johnson, right? He's made probably a total of $74 million in proceeds since being on the PGA Tour for his career. And guess what? He signed a 4-year, $125 million contract to play for LIV. That's amazing. That's astounding. And the money's backed by Saudi Arabia. And here's the thing. Saudi Arabia, they want not to be they understand that their oil reserves will run out at some point. So they're starting to put their money in other things. They want to have a great golf tournament as well. And now they got a lot of players that jump ship. I mean, Lee Westwood, I saw Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka. Those two are good rivals.
Dustin Johnson to name, Phil Mickelson. And, I also wanted to play this clip right now that I know Marissa's got prepared because, Tiger Woods spoke out against players who decided to join the LIV. And here's a short clip of his exchange.
These players are doing for, guaranteed money. What is the incentive to practice? What is the incentive to go out there and earn it in the dirt? I just don't see how that move is positive in the long term.
And Tiger Woods continued by saying these players, they've turned their back on what has allowed them to get to this position. And you've already jumped right on top of it, Kevin. Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson, to name a few, have been labeled as selling themselves to the devil for joining the LIV Invitational Series. Why do you feel like the media is so fixated on the narrative that the LIV players are taking Saudi blood money?
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, yeah, it seems like they did sell out. I mean, they're just throwing so much money at them. It's almost like, man, I can't refuse this. I'm going to jump ship.
But would you refuse it? I wouldn't.
I don't think I would either. I think I would take the money too.
I'll be like, I'm taking it. That's a lot of money.
Especially,
yeah,
you're right, Marissa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Guaranteed money to go. I would take it in a heartbeat. And I think most people would take it in a heartbeat. We don't all have the luxury of Tiger Woods to have all that money already,
I was just about to say,
that past, have all those championships.
Yeah,
hey, look, he's Tiger Woods.
Well, it's not even so much the championships, in my opinion, Marissa. I really feel like you're already a billionaire in itself, Tiger Woods. It's easy for you to say that, but when you got a lot of these young up-and-coming amateurs that are seeing that they're willing to throw $200 million towards Phil, or even offer you, Tiger Woods, what they're saying reportedly $900 million. That's insane to think that $1 billion, almost $1 billion. But I guess the follow-up question that I have is, since everybody likes to compare these players for taking Saudi blood money, why does no one throw a fit when the FIFA World Cup is being hosted this year in Qatar? Why does no one ever bitch about how the NBA hosts his games in China? I mean, what's your thoughts on all of this? It seems like we're very one-sided with these kind of conversations about human rights.
Well, you know what? It looks like this list's going to be here to stay. I mean, that kind of money, and I looked at the list of players that they have. I mean, there's a ton of players. Like this off-season who just won a major a couple of years ago. I mean, there's a lot of people that jump ship. I mean, I understand what Tiger's saying. It's like the purity of the sport, but Marissa made a good point where, well, Tiger's already, he's already made his bones. He's won all these championships. So the competition, it seems like it's much more competitive in the PGA.
Hey, look, when Tiger Woods gets to a point where he's not winning those games and pulling those paychecks, he will take that money. He will go there because his name. Retire. No, he won't retire. He won't retire. I'm telling you, he's going to turn around and he'll end up taking that money. It might be 5 years, might be 10 years. I don't know how long his career is going to be, but eventually he'll take that money.
It might be today because you just got eliminated from the Open.
That's true too. Yeah, he's not fired from Kevin Drake. But since I brought up the NBA, let's talk some basketball, because in a preview for the Uninterrupted The Shop, the episode is going to be dropping today, which is the center of controversy. LeBron James sparked outrage this month when he spoke on the detainment of Brittany Griner, invoking a response from former Boston Celtics center Enes Kanter. So let's go ahead and play that clip now.
Brittany Griner, she is in Russia. She's been there
over 110 days. Now, how can she feel like America has her back? I would be feeling like, do I even want to go back to America?
It just kills my heart when I see comments like this, because the thing is, there are other side of the people of the world that suffering so much, are going through so many tough times, and I wish that I can show them what people are going through there.
So, Kevin, after hearing what LeBron has to say and Enes Kanter had to say about this mix that involves the unfortunate events with Brittany Griner, what do you feel about this situation?
The situation is this. She brought an illegal substance into a foreign country. Now, I get it that WNBA players don't make much money here, so they go to Russia, and the game is really big over there. Women's basketball is huge in Russia, and she should have known better not to bring an illegal substance going into a foreign country, especially on a brink of war. Not to say that we're at war with Russia, and maybe many ways we are, and then that war started. So it's not that she broke the law. And I mean, my heart goes out to her. I feel for her to be locked up, because I know those Russian prisons aren't a great place to be at right now.
But don't you find that being such an ignorant statement from LeBron James, especially when we have such a turmoil situation with Brittany Griner? And I agree with you. I feel like she really screwed her own self up, and I really don't feel like it's any of our fault that she put herself in that position. I understand that she only makes $200,000 a year when she plays in the Women NBA League, but to bring an illegal substance like smoking CBD or THC, I even smoke greens, and I would never even beg to even try to even do that. So you would think that you would be able to stay up the weed, like Stephen A. Smith says, just for a little bit if you have to make that income to make a living. And
I don't think it's also, I think people are forgetting, it's not so much that LeBron is talking about whether she was guilty or innocent. What he's talking about is the fact he feels that America, our federal government, president, didn't step in fast enough to try to free her and do more. But what a lot of people are missing, and Kevin, you brought that up, is that we are at a Cold War with Russia. We have them sanctioned. We are supplying arms to Ukraine. We are supplying military, not personnel, but equipment, right? So there is more behind the scenes than maybe we know, LeBron knows, or anybody knows, right? That they're trying to deal with. And maybe they were working on it beforehand. We don't know yet.
We don't know.
We just don't know yet.
All I know is, Marissa, I wouldn't have accepted the plea deal of guilty.
She had to.
I wouldn't, though. You don't have to.
No. That was part of the agreement. That was part of the agreement of her in a prisoner exchange.
We don't know that.
No,
we don't know that if the White House told her directly to plead guilty or not guilty. We really don't know that. But I feel like what you're getting at, Marissa, I think is a true thing. LeBron always talking down on our country, acting as if, if you're not going to get the backing of our government, why would you even want to come back here? It's like everybody's working their ass off. You're in the media 24/7, probably a little bit more than you probably should be right now. But obviously, I pray for her safety. Hopefully, her sentencing gets lessened down. But obviously, we can't stick on this subject for too long.
Well,
but
it does bring up a good point. It's like, look, there's a lot of bad things going on in other countries. This is a great place to live. That's pretty much what he's saying. It's like there's a lot of bad going on in these.
Yeah, it
third
seems
world
like he
countries.
never has a problem being able to talk back at Nike sweatshops or
He
any of
should
the
just,
human rights in
at the end
China.
of the
But
day, he should just go move to
Yeah.
China. All right, he's saying he
Maybe at
loves
the end of
China's
the day.
money. He loves to play for him. Like, just go, homie. It's cool. You
But
know?
I did want to bring in, since we did bring in NBA sports politics into the mix, I do want to bring in some NBA sports talk. And one of them was the NBA Governors Board voted to make the play-in tournament permanent. And for anybody that doesn't really remember how the play-in works, the teams that finish 7th through 10th in each conference contest to secure the 7th and 8th playoff spot. And real quickly, Kevin, are you in favor of the shakeup?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was okay during the pandemic and all, but think about it. There's 30 NBA teams, and the way the playoffs was structured, 16 teams are going to the playoffs. Now you got 20 teams going to the playoffs. Maybe they're trying to prevent tanking.
Yeah,
But,
well, that's
the
what the
teams gonna
original
tank.
case that they were saying.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, I don't know. It takes away from the history of it, but I mean, it is what it is. So it'll keep
I feel
more
like
teams
LeBron's in my
competitive.
mouth all day when it comes to the Just Talking segment, but isn't it kind of funny how LeBron James bitched about the play-in tournament, and then last season, literally
Yeah.
the Lakers had to use the play-in tournament just to leverage themselves to get into the playoff spot?
Yeah.
I do find that kind of funny. But let's switch up into the college world, because there's quite the seismic
Yes.
shift that's going on, because the Big Ten voted to add USC and UCLA as conference members beginning in 2024. I know a lot of the gripe that college fans are expressing is, we want to keep it geographical. We like that everybody gets to kind of play their state-by-state teams, but now it's going to be nationwide. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there's like 15,000-mile stretch that USC and UCLA get to go towards now because they joined the Big Ten. Do you like this move, Kevin? Because I sure
I
do.
like the fact that USC and UCLA stay together, so that rival will be there. But they're going to lose a lot of the Pac-12 rivals that USC and UCLA played. Maybe they'll when they play out of conference.
I don't
maybe
think I
they'll play
miss
the Pac-12.
Arizona State desert games. I think most people are going to move on from that.
Yeah. They won't miss that. Now volleyball. They said like volleyball and surfing. That will still stay in the Pac-12. 'Cause look, Ohio State doesn't have a surfing team. I'm sorry. They don't. I don't know if they have sand volleyball either.
But don't you think, Kevin, that, because one of the guys on the USC Board of Trustees is Rick Caruso. He is one of the members that's actually running for LA mayor. I think he's actually catching on to something that we don't necessarily see in the LA sports world, which is, the TV revenue that's going to be starting to be produced because we joined the Big Ten. I mean, these are going to be games that are actually not going to be placed late at night, because a lot of the times that was the issue with East Coast audience. Also, the recruiting value, the fact that you're going to be able to leverage UCLA and USC with East Coast players now that they feel like they're going to get that national primetime attention that they feel like they deserve. Don't you feel like they're onto something? I mean, now that we got NIL in the mix.
They are. They definitely are. I mean, it seems like we're going to come down to 4 major conferences, which they were alluding to. And you're right. There's more money, more TV rights, better recruiting because you could cover more ground. And it won't be this heavy favorites where there's always the SEC teams always winning it, Alabama winning it every year or always in it. Now it's going to kind of level the playing field, but it's going to condense things a bit.
Oh, that is.
We have Big Ten, we have the SEC, the ACC, maybe the American Athletic. I don't know what would be the.
Well, they're even talking about how the Big 12 might get expanded,
Yeah,
or the
Big 12.
Pac-12, excuse me, might get expanded as well because of the move with USC and UCLA. So definitely keep a lookout, college fan, because this is definitely revolutionary. And Kevin, we all know you're a tennis fanatic, and obviously the Wimbledon brought us a lot of great hype, and it's just great to see people back in attendance. But legendary tennis star John McEnroe was very outspoken during his playing days, and that hasn't changed in retirement either.
No.
So the longtime United States tennis star is not happy that Novak Djokovic could be unable to play in the U.S. Open due to vaccine requirements. I know you were very outspoken the last time we had you on with the whole vaccine restrictions when it came with Kyrie Irving, but do you feel like Novak deserves a pass?
Yes, I think he should play because think about it. There's a baseball player, JT Realmuto, who they're playing in Canada, and he can't go, so they're saying, oh, he's losing $250,000. He's like, well, I'm not going to let Canada decide what I'm going to put into my body, and that in America shouldn't decide what's going to put.
And I'll be honest, as I took the vaccine like myself, but if I was an athlete and all of my money came down to my physical prowess and how it is, there is enough stuff out there that would make me double think it. It just would. Like if I took something in my body and I was like, look, people are saying they're having a hard time now with the lymph. I mean, I'm not trying to say that he's in the right. I'm just saying, as an athlete, if I was really on that fence, you know what I mean? That could be his entire career if something went wrong.
Yeah, it's very crazy because we saw these restrictions happen with them when it came to the Australian Open. Now we're starting to see the U.S. government, might play a factor in Novak not even being allowed to come into the States. It's like if you could show proven test every single day, even when you're not vaccinated, that you're clear to go, I think that's good enough to make it happen. I mean, remember
people who are vaccinated are getting COVID. I mean, it's not like you get vaccinated and you're not passing COVID. I know now plenty of people who are vaccinated who have the new variant right now, and they're vaccinated. I mean, it's just like it's not going anywhere. The WHO, our CDC, they need to come out and say this is not going anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. You're still going to most likely catch it. You may even be asymptomatic. It's going to be like the flu. If you want the flu shot, take it. If you want the vaccine, take it, and let's open the world back up. But they're refusing to be honest.
Be responsible and move on.
They're not being honest.
Well, think about New York Mayor Eric Adams got a lot of gripe with how he handled Kyrie Irving in the Brooklyn Nets. And then towards the very tail end of the season, then they lifted all the sanctions. So if New York, one of the more stricter vaccine requirements, started to lift it, wouldn't you think that they allowed Novak to play in the U.S. Open? Well, I guess that's for you, the CCS family, to decide. But Kevin, let's end the show off on a happy note, because we obviously know next month, August, that brings back all the glory days that we love about sports, or at least for myself, because I'm being a little bit biased. But I love the NFL, and the NFL preseason begins, and CBS Sports released their power rankings listing. And number 1 is the Bills. Number 2 are the Chargers. Number 3 are the Rams. Number 4 are the Buccaneers. And number 5 are the Cincinnati Bengals, who, by the way, are going to be premiering a fan favorite mock-up, which is the white Bengals helmets coming this upcoming season.
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even a Cincinnati fan, but I'm pretty excited to see how that looks.
It's a game that I go to. I'm going to a Thursday night game against the Dolphins, so I hope they wear those unis.
Hey, you might actually get pretty lucky to see that happen in the mix. Yeah. But I want to know from you, Kevin, are you satisfied with this top 5? Did you have anybody else that you were seeing in the mix that deserved better placement?
Why are the Chargers number 2? I don't understand that one. I know they did a lot of, big time free agent signings, but, these guys still haven't played together on the field. So we'll see how that transpires. But I would definitely have I agree. The Bills are probably the best solid team in the AFC. I know there are everybody.
AFC's so tight this year. So tight. I mean, the NFC's wide open. I was thinking the same exact thing. I'm thinking, how does the Chargers get that much leverage when you consider the Green Bay Packers could easily make another run at trying to potentially get a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, they have Devontae Adams that just recently left, but that core, everything about that squad from offense to defense, they can easily shake it up, in my opinion. But since, we got about a minute or two left with you, Kevin, we've been having a lot of crazy trades happen this offseason. So which ones were the more impactful trades this offseason?
You talking about the NFL trades?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of shit, moving and shaking, and people changing places. But I think it's more the free agent signings. Well, the Khalil Mack going to the Chargers. That's
Yeah, you think that's going to really amplify them in the Chargers defense?
They were so weak on defense. I think their defense is going to be better. I don't think they're the second best team in the AFC. I think you got to give some respect to the
Chiefs.
You
don't think the Miami Dolphins? I was about to say Tyreek Hill with Waddle, now the 2 fastest wide receiver duos to be in the NFL league. I think that could easily shake it up a little bit. And, the more I think about it, as much as I hate to see Russell Wilson leave the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like that's a kind of pretty good shakeup, in my opinion. I feel like the
Yeah.
Broncos might shock the world. Will they make some noise in the AFC? We will soon find out. And, you know, the Chargers will really be tested for their number 2 spot because of the Denver Broncos. But, Kevin, we want to thank you again for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, my friend. And, you know, stay you, baby boo. But just let you know what's good. Bengals and Reds, they're going to be irrelevant when, you know, the season keeps going. Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. All right, Kevin, talk to you later.
All right, thank you guys.
Man, I could talk with Kevin for hours. He is such a great soul. But hey, this is Off the Fret, and let's not waste any time. It's showtime, baby. So this is Off the Fret, where if you physically or digitally pick up that record, you're going to know these tracks. And Marissa and I, I'm just so amazed at the overall reception that we have been receiving, you know, with our 5th installment of Off the Fret, More Music Talk podcast with Animal Sun. They're a pop rock band right here in Los Angeles, California, and we have nearly 6,000 views to date.
Every new vodcast, that comes out has over thousands more viewers. Every single one. Like, it makes me so happy.
No, it's incredible to see that everybody is resonating with this, and hopefully you, the listening audience, are discovering new music because of Off the Fret. And for anybody that's not sure what the music podcast is all about, here's a clip of vocalist Stephen Blake discussing their new single, Next Mistake, off their upcoming sophomore LP, Generation Waiting. One second, fam. You know how it goes with the whole YouTube live. But we got this clip coming up. It's an amazing one. This is Stephen Blake speaking on their hit track, Next Mistake. But let's talk about a deep message that I think you got going on with your brand new single, Next Mistake, which, you know, is the kind of the perfect song about speed dating, just like how you kind of touched on earlier, you know, because I was getting at the whole like swipe right, regret later phase. I mean, we're all still doing this to this day. And you have a line in that track where you sing, love is calling you behind a screen, but your heart is lost somewhere in between. And am I getting at what the next mistake is? And the last I recall, you have a girlfriend. So like, who is this song about and who wrote this? Is this Will? Is this Tyler? Like, what's going on? Like,
they all have girlfriends. I mean, I was single for a large part of my life. You know, I've been with, you know, my current girlfriend now for, you know, 3-4 years, but up until 24, you know, I was very.
Did one of the girls say that she thinks dating a band, a rock star, is kind of going to be the next mistake? Are you going to move on? Are you going to get these groupies while you're on tour? Stop playing. I don't know. I think if you had a lot of women lavishing all over you, I think you would take a little bit of advantage,
Chris just wants
right?
to live vicariously through you if you were a hoe. Steven's a good guy. Don't make him out like a hoe. He's a good guy.
Oh, come on. I mean, that's the lavish rock style. I mean, don't you think? I mean, beautiful women are probably lavishing all over you, especially at a spring tour like Kelsey Carter. I mean, you had a strong female lineup. I would think all the women would be showing up.
It's inappropriate, you know what I mean, to do that with fans. For us, it's literally none of that. You know, like at the merch table, we'll meet you, we'll sign things, we'll take photos, we'll follow you back, but I won't even joke. I can't even joke.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to be pulling a Tillin from Dance Gavin Dance. We all know what happened with him behind the scenes last month. So I would take notes, up-and-coming bands. Listen to Stephen Blake. I know you're going to have a lot of beautiful women coming approaching you, but you know what? I think when you have that close connection with a good girl like Stephen's dating today, you know, great things will happen behind the scenes. But you know what, Marissa? Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
Let me touch base, because the song, you're kind of wrong on what it's about. So.
Ooh, okay. Let us know what's good.
The song is not about being a hoe. The song is about how technology and just how badly our brains have been warped. I'm part of the new generation, right? So this is me, my generation, but it's also people that were born 50 years ago. It's anyone that feels lost and out of place and unconnected to societal norms that are dealing with these issues. I consider them part of the same group, right? But it's about how we're addicted to immediate gratification, right? So when in hookup culture in particular, it's all about immediate gratification. There's not a lot of thought in it. And usually you're left feeling hollow, unfulfilled, searching for what were you searching for, right? Now, of course, that's not everyone, right? Sometimes you're just out having fun and you just, want to go have fun, right? But there's a deeper cultural issue going on right now from dating apps, like flat out, like it's all high speed, very little effort, very little reward.
Instant gratification.
And what's the point of being somebody's best thing, right? If they can just go find another thing, right?
I feel like this single is starting to sound like my life. I always joke with my parents that I'm going to be a bachelor till I'm 40 because I'm never going to be satisfied with the dating culture today. So I appreciate that. I feel like my chapter of my story is being told within the Animal Sun mix. Yeah, who would have thought that Animal Sun would actually write a song with a hidden message, a subliminal verse about Chris Collins? I mean, you learn everything for the first time.
He loves you, Chris, because he loves you.
Because Stephen Blake actually loves me. So you wouldn't know that if you actually check out Off the Fret, More Music Talk podcast. But as Marissa gets us ready to play some music, because this is Off the Fret after all, we're going to show the CCS family what's good because we just talked about Next Mistake. So let's go ahead and play that brand new music video right now. The song's called Next Mistake, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
My favorite group of angsty gentlemen. Glad you made it out here today, yeah? So I got some good news and some bad news. We couldn't get your stylist to come all the way out here today, but I put out a Craigslist ad and we got a response this morning. So we got this nice lady, she's local. She says she's the best at what she... Come on, get in here. Come on. Hurry it up, come on.
Ah, there you are. You look even better in person than in your videos. But we must do something about this. Let's make you look like a real band.
mistake.
Oh, man, you gotta love it, CCS family. That is Animal Sun, and that is their brand new music video, Next Mistake. You can go ahead and check out all the rest of their kick-ass music with their sophomore LP dropping on July 27th. Keep a lookout for that, fam. But we've been fortunate enough to have such a kick-ass roster for Off the Fret, more music talk. And for anyone who hasn't seen our interview with Cannibal Kids, which was the previous episode from Animal Sun, definitely check out this clip. You guys are missing out. So here's a teaser now of that interview. So let's play that clip, Marissa. Former Oasis guitarist Noel Gallagher proposed that rock and roll all but pushed out the working class with instruments too expensive and rehearsal spaces are in short supply. Does he have a point? Because, you know, a lot of the times you start thinking like, where are all the 14-year-olds, you know, starting bands nowadays? I mean,
here's what I'll say. I think the avenues of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and Spotify, we have decentralized what it means to be an artist. And now you don't have to be in LA anymore to make it. You don't have to be in Nashville or New York to make it anymore. You can pop off as a singer-songwriter in Sweden or a little town in LEJ, Georgia. You can pop there because you have this online presence. I do believe the traditional way of making it in music, finding a band, paying $20-40 an hour at a rehearsal space, dropping $7,000 to make an album. That model is gone. Yeah. People are making music in their bedrooms. People are making music on their cell phones.
Just like how you said the first time you came on the Chris Collins show for Strike a Chord. You guys were very excited about that lo-fi bedroom pop sound, you know, where I was pressing you go, what the fuck is bedroom mean?
And in the ashes of the old music industry model will be born something new that we've never seen before. And I think it's extremely exciting. The Oasis homie is very much on the money. Music is harder to make now, but it's also that much more accessible. I mean,
what about like Damien? What about the people like myself? Because I know I was a self-taught musician. I don't know how you were. I just picked up the guitar. I was on ultimateguitar.com. I would like try to pick up the songs and try to listen to my ear, like Sad But True with Metallica, to try to play along at the same time. And like for anybody who's like on the fence about investing in picking up an instrument, what would you say to them right now tuning in?
I would say never invest anything more than you're willing to lose, first and foremost. So that's how you're smart with your money. But if after that, it's all about time and passion. At the same time, even though you're not quote unquote seeing 14-year-olds playing guitar after their favorite guitar heroes and the guitar gods of the 80s and 90s. What you're seeing now is kids producing music on their phones, on their iPads, producing hip-hop beats on their computers, on FL Studios, being inspired by a new generation of musicians who write music on a computer.
So you're not a hater of anybody leaving the traditional instrument space and then doing it digitally?
No, man. Why would I? I mean, if you go back to the 1920s, what are you going to tell Charlie Parker in the 30s, hey dude, stop playing that fucking jazz music? What happened to the Tchaikovsky of the classic era? What are we doing? We got away from. I'm gonna be like, dude, keep pushing forward. Always push the envelope forward. That's how you make great music.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, when you learn an instrument, it's very therapeutic. It's a healing process, and everything that Damien's saying is so 110% true. And he's right. I mean, anybody that wants to pick up an instrument today, don't always feel like you got to go for that Gibson. Don't feel like you got to go for that Fender Stratocaster. People don't even realize that a lot of your favorite brands are actually making affordable products for you today. Like Fender owns Squier, Gibson owns Epiphone. All of those musical instruments today, I still play on an Epiphone. It sounds so kick-ass, and it competes with some of the greatest today. But let's go ahead and play Cannibal Kids. It's a great music video, guys. I love this single a lot. This song's called Jeans, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Maybe it is time that I open up a pair of jeans just to say what's up. I don't know exactly where we fell apart, jumping from my end just to make a start. She said that she might have cancer. I don't really know, 'cause we don't talk about it. Driving 95 on his own, a broken stereo, a little song. Trapped inside the center, tasting menthol. A peace of mind from a stupid song. I don't know what happened to
Yeah, that's right. That is Cannibal Kids, and you can check out that music video. It's called Jeans, and check out their music. They got an amazing record. It's called Deadheads, and no, it's not a tribute album to the Grateful Dead. And yes, you will laugh about it as we discuss that during our Off the Fret music interview. But you can find all the latest Off the Fret interviews featuring Animal Sun, Royals UK, Cannibal Kids, The Phoenix Within, and The Blowies on our YouTube channel or wherever you're listening to podcasts. And also, for everyone who's tuning in live right now, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss a live show. Stick around. More left on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. This is What's Good, because there's so much negativity on channels 2 through 11. So Marissa and I, we like to break the mold and let you, the CCS family, know what's good. When a 12-year-old was left neglected with only 2 signatures in his yearbook, superhero and A-lister Paul Rudd stepped up to support the youngster. And Marissa, when you're ready, let's go ahead and roll the tape.
I gotta talk to this kid, because this kid sounds like my kind of guy. Likes chess, likes fencing, likes dinosaurs. Am I right? Yeah. He's right here. All right. Well, I'm very excited that I get to talk to you, that I get to meet you.
The note reads, it's important to remember that even when life gets tough, that things get better. There are so many people that love you and think you are the coolest kid there is, me being one of them. And I just think that's so cool that he even gave him a replica of Ant-Man helmet himself. And I think those little things of just giving back when you have that luxury as an A-lister and superhero like Paul Rudd is, I think that is such a powerful message. What do you think, Marissa?
Yeah, and I think, he had talked about being bullied himself as a kid. So he is really passionate about trying to change that narrative and going forward. And I think just kids naturally tend to bully. Like we conglomerate to what we know, what feels comfortable, what has that. And it's up to the parents and the people around to really strive to make children be more accepting and really try to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And I know he got 2 signatures, but one of them was very hurtful to even read. I know one of them said, hey, I hope you make more friends next year. And, kids, if we got young listeners listening, let's not write that moving forward in your books. Just a little helpful note. That's not the most positive message to be adding towards any kid who is trying to figure out his footing in the real world. But Paul Rudd, kudos to you, my man. You truly are a superhero in my eyes. And I'm going to just do one little what's good, because the news did break out this week, Marissa, in the music world. Pantera is making a reunion.
Yeah, I knew they would.
Listen
Yes.
to music fans, which is very, very incredible. So vocalist Phil and Rex Brown, the bassist, they are the surviving members. And the beauty about all of this is they actually listen to the metalheads. Zach Wilde will be in place for Dimebag Darrell. He's one of the greatest guitar gods today. So to see him there, and Anthrax drummer Charlie being on the drums for Vinnie Paul, oh my God, bet your ass, Marissa, I'm getting tickets for 2023 Pantera. I'm going to say that I've seen Pantera.
I've never seen them, and I would
never have gotten the luxury to be able to do it. I don't care if it's only 2 surviving members. I just need to be able to hear the vocalist alone. That's what makes it truly special. So that's what's good. And hopefully you guys are also feeling the same vibe as well. But we want to give a huge shout out again to our amazing sports CCS contributor, Kevin Drake, discussing all things sports. And also, I think we have a guest announcement we need to let people know what's good.
Who is coming next week, Chris?
Oh, this band's so cool. They're an upcoming group. They are hard rockers. The band's called Wolf Road, and we're going to be having the vocalist joining us next Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's why it's so important that you make sure, if you're live right now with us, to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss a live show. And with that being said, we might as well give another last shout out to our 5th installment of Off the Fret, More Music, more music talk with Animal Sun as we sit down with Stephen Blake to discuss their upcoming sophomore LP, Generation Waiting, out on July 27th.
And aren't there like 6,000 views now?
Nearly 6,000 views. And
it's like 1,000 views each a week. So please, I love it. Keep that momentum going.
Even if you've seen the episode and you liked it, go ahead and show another music lover on your feed. So that would speak so much volumes for Marissa and I.
Hey, we're going for that 10 G's, that 10 G's each podcast, minimum. Right? Help us out.
Please. I mean, it would be definitely mind-boggling. We're obviously cooking up our next installment. Can't spill the beans just yet, but just know we got an amazing artist in the next lineup. Artist. That wasn't like a subliminal verse or anything, but yeah, we got an amazing artist that's behind the scenes. So just keep a lookout for that, fam. And if you are listening to the show, go ahead and go to thechriscollinsshow.com and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt. But for now, CCS family, enjoy the weekend and we'll see you next week, fam. Peace. What's good, party people? Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2022, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Royals, Hurricane Highway, Cannibal Kids, Amanda Cooksey, Astoria State, Kid Dad, Resounding, Sleep Cycles, Avenues, Freckles, Weather Worn, Just True, Sophia Marie, Music Storm 2022, available on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Peace. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat. Hello.
You would look so jazzy. I love your outfit.
How far would you go to start playing live music again? This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So, are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music? Everything is everything, and I guarantee you're going to hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you. And you know what? I love it. Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace. What's good? I'm Chris from The Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, featuring Animal Sun. This four-piece pop rock band is blowing up the charts with 100,000 monthly listeners, releasing their sophomore album, Generation Waiting, on July 27th. Joins Off the Fret. More music talk.